What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Seeds of Change. I'm your host, Matt Mills. I hope everything is going well whenever you listen to this, that you're having a good week and a great weekend. I want to take time and thank you for your support. Thank you for the encouragement, the comments. It is greatly appreciated, and I'm glad that what is being shared is blessing you. Before we go any further, I do want to take time to thank our sponsors. Live Infinitely Ashwagandha Gummies. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I just want to reiterate how much I enjoy the product personally. It's something that I take on a daily basis. And don't worry if you don't like, taking a lot of different things. It's natural. It's a natural herb that helps with stress. Also can help with quality sleep as well as other beneficial things within the body. So you don't have to worry about it having a bunch of chemicals. It is natural. And it's a gummy. So if you're not a fan of medications, you can take it like a piece of candy. They have different flavors. I personally have the cherry flavor and I enjoy it. So give it a try. I'll make sure the link is down below so you can go check it out. You can purchase it, taste it, tell me what you think. Tell me if what flavor you end up getting if you try something different. So thank you again, Live Infinitely, and thank you again for the support. We do have a few family announcements, and then we're going to kind of pick up where we left off when we were talking about rest, but we're going to continue to build on it and elaborate on it. So just stick with this. One of the major family announcements, in the sense that it is coming this week on the 18th. It's this Saturday. It's coming up, and it's an event that it'll be a good time, but it's also an informative one, and it's something that's important to me in the sense of making sure we provide the resources and the education in our communities so that our people are well prepared to manage these situations in the sense of, especially when it comes to seniors and managing their health as well as managing their health benefits. Being able or having to sign up for Medicare, learning how to navigate those systems and knowing what is available to you to support you. You are paying for that service that is Medicare. You should know all the things that it can offer you and what it can do to help you, as well as getting quality medical care. Not one that you have to deal with a lot of referrals and back and forth, but you can go to the doctor, get cared with respect, get treated with respect, and get everything you need done while you're there. So, we're having a red carpet party, and it's being sponsored by Unified Network Initiative and Dedicated Senior Medical. The event will take place on 330 West Oregon Avenue in Philadelphia, PA, 19148. There'll be dancing, there'll be bingo, food and drinks. Once again, this is March 18th, which should be this Saturday coming up from 12 to 4. You can call to RSVP. You can reach out to myself or Bishop Mills. And if you need transportation, the information is on the flyer. Please reach out. If you do need assistance to get there, because a lot of times that is a barrier for people to know how to navigate or even travel to a location like that. So if you do need assistance with travel, please reach out. Do not let that be the reason you are not able to be a part of the event, be able to enjoy yourself, as well as get quality information. So please make a note for this Saturday coming up from 12 to 4 and the address, and make sure if you need transportation that you call. We also have an Easter egg hunt coming up soon. I will give you all the details, and it should be a good time. We had it last year, and it was a great time. It was a wonderful fellowship. It will be held at Society for the Helping Church, 1323 West Susquehanna Avenue. It's in Philadelphia, PA, 19122. And you should mark it down. Bring your family, bring your children. To be on the 8th, April 8th. So just bring your family out to fellowship and commune, have a good time. And I thank you for the support as always. If you do have other announcemements, I do want to quick mention before I make that spiel. I will be preaching tomorrow at St. Paul. I ask you to please keep me in your prayers. I ask you to just support me as much as you can, even if you could just pray. If it hits you in your mind tomorrow, just pray that the Lord will bless the service. If you do have announcements, if you do have things you want to share, if you do have any praise reports, prayer requests, anything of that sort that you want shared, either with me or on the podcast, please email me at ministermattmills@gmail.com. MINMATTMILLS@gmail.com. And I will make sure that it gets announced, that it gets shared, that we will be able to pray, support, whatever your need is, please share it. So thinking about what was discussed last week, we were talking about rest, and we were talking about how important it is to rest in God. And to kind of continue in that lane, I wanted to read Psalms 37. It says, "Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither. Like green plants, they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." My mom brought this scripture to my attention and mentioned it to me and kind of brought it back to my remembrance. And thinking about resting, thinking about being in God, I wanted to continue and think about the scripture because to take delight in the Lord, to take great pleasure in the Lord, is a part of the resting process we talked about last week. Taking that step to rest in God is the first step. But you have to take pleasure in the Lord. And the reason I think it's important to take delight in your rest is because you're not fully enjoying or realizing all that God has to offer if you're not taking pleasure in the rest. The reason that's important is because there are many times God will force us to rest. There were many times that we are forced to relax or to take a break. But if you're too busy with your mind moving forward and racing to plan on what you're going to do when you get out of your rest or when you get back up or when you get it together, you're not taking delight in being in the presence of God. And I'm saying that as a person that's been there, that sometimes even when you're supposed to be resting, I touched on it last week, when you're supposed to be resting, there are times you were so busy trying to figure out what you have to do next and thinking about what you have to do next that you don't get to enjoy the break. And the reason that's worth stressing is because you can't fully maximize what God can do for you in the rest if you're too busy thinking about what you got to do next. The other important thing is in this verse 4, and he will give you the desires of your heart. The reason I wanted to mention that is because if you think about all that we do, all that we stress about, all that we're concerned about, we're worrying about what we have to take care of, what we got to do next, what you got to buy, what you got to work, what you forgot to do, what you have to do, that you miss that God is able to give you desires of your heart. And I think we've talked about it before, but you can't outwork God. You can't outdo what God can do. You can't do what God does better than him. So why do we stress ourselves? Why do we overthink about things that, one, we can't control, and two, that we can't do better than the God that's in control? This verse is one that I think is worth keeping in mind in our journeys. Because if we move too fast, if we accelerate the process too much, if we stay too overwhelmed, the answers you seek are already present. I say that because if you take great pleasure in the Lord, he will give you the desires of your heart. If he's going to give you the things that you desire, you also must be in him and active in him so that y'all are one accord and you could truly know what you desire. If you are outside of the will of God, if you're out thinking on your own about things that you think you need and the things that you want that don't fall in line with what God has for you, and it's outside of the plan He has for you, and we've already discussed that His plan is the better plan, why are we not willing to take delight in the Lord? And even if we go a few verses ahead where He talk about that we shouldn't fret or be envious of those who do wrong, you get your answer in verse 4. Because if we take time to get in our own heads and looking at other people and become envious and compare and try to figure out how we can get what they have or acquire our own levels of success, where the answer was trust in the Lord, dwell in the land, enjoy the pasture, and take delight or great pleasure in the Lord. All of the things that you are instructed to do involve you being immersed in the presence of God. It is not about you trying to figure out how to hustle or trying to figure out how you're going to make ends meet or trying to figure any. He said, trust in the Lord, dwell in the land, enjoy the pasture, and take great pleasure in the Lord. And then it says He will give you the desires of your heart. At some point in our lives, in our mindsets, in our wisdom, we have to know that we have to let God do the work. There is only so much that we can do, and the part that we should be doing is fully involves us getting in the presence of God, staying in the presence of God, leaning into whatever He desires of us, and let God do the work. That's the other part of rest. You can be forced to rest, or you can make a decision to rest, but it does not mean you enjoy the rest. Many of us get days off, but there are some people that don't know how to take a day off. You will be at home and you will find something to do. You will find an errand that you have to run. You'll find a chore that you have to do. You will find partially another job to make some more money. You will find another task to do. You will not enjoy the break. You will not enjoy the relaxation. You will not enjoy the possible time God wanted you to have. Maybe He wanted you to pray. Maybe He wanted you to read. Maybe He just wanted you to get a refresher before you go back. But because we don't know how to take a break and we don't know how to rest, we miss out on what the rest can do for us. It's not just meant for us to have some free time. Sometimes it's meant for us to get revelation. Sometimes it's meant for us to get encouragement. Sometimes it's meant for us to get another level of confirmation that we need. And we won't get that because we're too busy to rest. This scripture tells you how to just take great pleasure being with the Lord. He will give you the desires of your heart in the time that He desires. Because He will, if you keep reading this psalm is one of encouragement. It's one that continues to tell you to wait on the Lord and tells you of the righteous reward that you will receive. But it starts with being told that He will give you the desires of your heart. Throughout this psalm, it is riddled with texts on how you need to be committed, dedicated, patient, and how you just need to be in God, not in ourselves, not stuck on our plans, but in God. And as a person that struggles with being in control, with struggling to, you have to have a plan. You have to know what you're going to do. It is very hard to release that control, knowing that I need to let God do His work. So I'm sharing this as a lesson that the things that you desire and the things that you want out of your life, sometimes it's not all about what you have to do. You don't have to figure out all the answers. You just are challenged to get in the right position to receive it. Some of us are running around in circles, trying to figure out what this plan and that plan and the next plan. But if you are willing to be obedient, if you are willing to be patient and wait on the Lord, you will get the thing that you're seeking. Because what you're looking for, you won't find unless God gives it to you. So instead of wasting your energy, just rest. Take a second to rest in God, to get revelation, to get understanding, to get guidance, to get direction, to get strength. Because God is the one who's going to give you desires of your heart. But if you don't know how to take delight in the Lord, you'll never truly understand, one, what your heart desires, and two, how you will retrieve it. So I thank you for listening. I thank you for your support. I thank you for just all the positive energy. I hope that something that was shared will bless you. And I hope it's something that you can think about and meditate on. And I challenge you to take time to take delight in the Lord, to actually take great pleasure in the God that we serve, not just in the ceremony of it, but in that the relationship, in the personal aspect of it, to really see what it feels like to take great pleasure in the relationship that you can have with God. So God bless you, God keep you, and until next time.